Right now, I'd like to introduce Chris Warren, who is the board president, and he will be introducing the candidates so we can get going on this and everybody can hear. Welcome, Chris.
Oh, I know.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you all for coming. And I think that to be fair for the candidates, we're going to wait a few minutes till everybody gets their ice cream and gets sat down, so you can pay close attention to what everybody has to say. Go ahead and get your ice cream. And by the way, thanks to Rick Owens, Casey Free. So go ahead and get your ice cream and get settled in, and we'll
Coffee, they got coffee.
Patricia now. We'd like to get started, and then we can all get first thing I'd like to do is introduce the existing board members, and of course 4 of them are up here at the table. Could I get the rest of them to stand, please? We have Judy Brady and Paul Zalowski, and of course the 4 up here, the 4 incumbents up here at the table. So I want to thank all the board members. It's a big job being a board member. There's a fair amount of time and effort and money that you have to put into this organization, and I really want to thank all these board members for the work that they've done. One more thing, I'd like all of our past board members to stand. I see a number of them in the room.
Past?
There's Tony Bear and Claude. Claude, how come you're not standing? Can't hear. I know Betty Hendrickson, she's the past board member. Betty, thank you. Thank you for your service and welcome. Just a little bit about being a board member. There are a number of expectations that we have of board members. Number one is to make a personal contribution at least once a year at the level that you're comfortable with, and it's meaningful for each member. Also, you have to be a member of the Senior Center, obviously. You're expected to share your networks and open doors and provide a specific goal, such as make one new introduction a month, try to bring new members to the organization. We also expect you to be a good advocate for the center, share your passion about our organization and our mission, and ask others to give when appropriate. We have a number of board members that serve on our gala committee. They go out in the community and ask people that they know to buy tables at our annual gala and support our other functions here, like our fall concert. So that's one of the expectations we have of board members. We hope that you will assist us with saying thank you to members when they do make donations and sending letters out whenever appropriate. And we want you to actively participate in board meetings. We have a board meeting every month, and we expect all board members to be at those, unless, of course, they have some other pressing commitment. Support as many of the events as possible. For instance, social hour. We like people in board members to come to social hour and any other function that the center is engaged in. And of course, the biggie is attend our annual signature event, which we've been having now for 4 years at the Atwood Mansion, and encourage others to buy tickets as well. Attend and take place in our annual board retreat. Once a year we have a little get-together on a Saturday where we talk about various issues related to our finances and other things that are going on with the board. We'd like you to chair at least one board committee. We have a number of committees. We have finance, we have fitness, we have self-assessment, we have the facilities committee, and a variety of other committees. So it's important for board members to actively serve and chair those committees. And be prepared to serve as an officer for at least 1 year out of your 3-year term. There are 4 officers and past president. And it's important that each of the board members take an active role in serving as an officer. So with that, I'd like to make some introductions. Let's get started here. First, I'm going to start with Micky Becker. I'm just going in alphabetical order. Micky Becker was appointed to the board earlier this year to fill a vacancy created when Sally Ann Perry had resigned to pursue employment opportunities. Micky's been a great addition to our board, and she's offered a number of suggestions to make the center a more efficient and productive facility. She's also served on the Summer Gala Committee for several years and has helped to make that annual event a great success by bringing in thousands of dollars to help with our operational costs. And Micky also serves on our finance committee. Micky.
Good afternoon. Well, you've already heard Chris tell you about what the duties are of a board member. And I'd like to think that I have been a good board member. I'd also like to tell you that I have served on the finance committee of this board for a couple of years now, and I've served, as Chris indicated, on the Glaser committee for the past 3 years. And I'm happy to tell you that we worked extremely hard this year to bring in about $130,000 net for this center so that we can continue to provide what we do. I am enthusiastic about the mission of the center. Enhancing the quality of life for the seniors is obviously very important, and this center does a great job with all the programs they offer, with a wonderfully equipped gym, classes, instructions, information. It is a really great facility. We have great volunteers, and we do have a great board of directors. My professional background is I have 35 years in public relations and office management with the oil industry. I've lived in Alaska since 1985, and particularly important for this position is I have a lot of nonprofit board service experience. I have also many years of fundraising experience. My past volunteer activities include the American Red Cross and the Breast Cancer Focus Inc. I'm currently on several other boards. The governor has reappointed me to the Alaska State Council on the Arts. And importantly for this facility, I'm on the board of directors for the Alaska Center for the Performing Arts, which has a lot of parallels to the facility here in terms that it too is a municipality-owned facility where the municipality pays for its upkeep. However, only pays about half of what it costs to keep the center open, which is pretty much the same true for this facility here. You may not know it costs about $1.6 million to keep this place operational. And I don't have to tell you how important fundraising is to continue doing what we're doing in addition to the membership dues and your participation in all of what we offer and all of what we do. I think I'm well informed about the community. I'm pretty well connected in the business world. And as I earlier said, I am enthusiastic about the mission of this center. And whether you elect me to the board or not, I encourage you to keep participating and to also help with fundraising for this facility. Thank you.
Thank you, Micky. Now I'd like to introduce Gordon Glaser. Gordon has served 2 terms on the board as president and now as past president. Gordon is an active member of the Center and our fitness program, and he serves on the Finance and Facilities Committees and has been continually supportive of all of our ASAC programs and our mission. Gordon's also president of the State of Alaska Commission on Aging, which advocates to the state administration and legislature on behalf of seniors. Gordon?
Thank you, Chris. Thank you, members here. I think I might let him keep going on. He's sounding pretty good to me. Okay. Before I start, I have to say something about Micky. Micky is very modest. We've done a number of expansions at the center. They took some money. She went out and got the Glaser committee on steroids to get us moving, to make that money so that we can have things like social hour, having some food, having some particular programs, getting particular equipment that we hadn't had before. I really would, if we could give a thanks to Micky for her work on that. I would appreciate that. I'm going to speak about myself. Dear fellow members, we are in a period of transition, both in our lives and the center. It's us who will decide what that will be. This is a community-based organization. It's not like other organizations. Nobody comes here and appoints people. You're the ones who are the deciders. And you are deciders not only in terms of the officers up here, but also in the direction in which we go and what we do. We have numerous opportunities. Phil's been to a number of them in terms of the board or committee meetings or open forums. And we listen to those and we respond. But that's up to you. So if you're going to vote for me, I also expect you're going to involve in the center. Because I'm not going to do it alone. I need your help. And that gets back to as you choose whoever you're going to choose to have your leadership. Are there people that you've seen here? Are there people who participate here? Are there people that you, when you ask them a question, talk to you? Because ultimately what we're building is not just exercise of Brittany does a wonderful job here, or just a couple of calories in there. We're trying to build a community. When I look at the data in terms of what causes chronic disease, low functioning, and death, one of the ones we look at is social isolation. If people need to be needed, we need you here. You need also to be involved here or someplace else. It literally may be a question of your life or death. And that's what we're trying to move. We've done that, as you can tell, the facility's gotten better. We've got a new van. We've been going out to different places. We've kept the expansion of hours, which was temporary. We certainly put arts in terms of what we've done in terms of work that Sally's done in terms of an arts program. We certainly have done things in terms of a music program, whether it's country, western, or classical music. And a lot of that, just classical music goes to Micky. I'm going to be around here. How many people have seen me around the Senate? Raise your hand. Okay, I'm around. If you got some questions on here beyond this, I'll be here after this is the social, but also come over and talk to me. I want to applaud all the board members that are serving as an executive member of the board. I am impressed with what they've done. Our volunteers, we would not work this place without the men in the first desk, the desk when we first come in here, without your work and the work of you. Again, if you're going to vote for me, I want something from you. And I want you to help. Thank you.
Thank you, Gordon. Now I'd like to introduce Selinda Grenn. Selinda is a lifelong Alaskan, a third generation. She's worked for the state of Alaska at the Anchorage jail, so you can keep all you guys alive. She's got the experience for that. She started the women's ministry for the female inmates in the jail. She's served on the gifted program with the school district and PTA. Here at the center, she's been a front desk volunteer, and she's helped out at our gala, and now she's going to be driving our van to various functions. Selinda?
A short person here. Oh, I feel kind of different. Everybody's here experienced, and I'm just a volunteer. I'm not just a volunteer. I won't say that. I thank you for being here today. This is really kind of exciting. I'm really excited to step into this place. I'll tell my little story, and then I'll do my other little part. I started school in Talkeetna. My folks were in the railroad, so I went to the territorial school, which is kind of cool to say once in a while. I graduated from East Anchorage High in '67, so I'm 51 years past graduation. Went to beauty college, and so I was a hairdresser for 20 years. We've been married, my husband and I have been married for almost 50 years. We've got 3 kids and 6 grandkids. I was thinking about where started all my wanting to be involved in everything, and it comes from my mom, who was very, very community oriented and Anchorage here, and she did so many things with SBCA and the Anchorage. I don't even remember the names of. There was community things anyway. She was really involved in, so I guess that led me to that. And my grandfather was up in Talkeetna. He homesteaded up there, and my folks moved up there from Anchorage. And so we were really involved with the Talkeetna Historical Society. I was head of the Moose Drop Festival for 3 years until it got so big, so big that we had to hire people to do it. I was a historian for the VFW up there. I was really involved in Talkeetna because my folks were there and we didn't have kids then. So when the kids started, I was involved with all their programs and PTA and volunteered at all the school functions and stuff. And I've always been active in my church with the kids. I've been a director of the women's ministry. I was a director of children's, Awana group, for many years. My husband and I both were. And so all those volunteer things, I did more volunteer things than I did jobs. So I went to get a temporary. They've had their temp jobs to fill in at the state of Alaska. I said, well, I don't have a lot of jobs to show you, and so I listed all my volunteer stuff, and they went, you're in. All this volunteer stuff is all the experience I needed. So that was kind of cool. I worked for full-time at the Regulatory Commission for 5 years, and I worked at the Anchorage jail, like you said, for 3 years, taking money in. And from that, I'm talking too fast, I hope not, but from that experience, when I put money on books for inmates, I also talked to all the women and guys, but the women or the wives, the moms would come in and they would be very upset and excited, anxious, I should say, they didn't understand what the process and where their people were going and what they had to go through and stuff. So I started a women's prison kind of ministry to help them find their place, get people to help them, because there's a real need for that. They really don't know what to do when their person gets thrown in jail, or they don't even know why sometimes. And it's funny too, because I've seen a few people here off and on that I talked to at the Anchorage jail. They're really sometimes embarrassed about that, so they don't want to say, hi, here I am, and so they'll scoot up to me and go, hi, remember me, you know. So it's really kind of cool to be able to still talk to them and that they recognize me. So here at the center, I'm sorry, here at the center, I volunteer at the front desk, which I absolutely love Wednesdays here. It's a whole lot of fun, and I get to listen to good music. Kind of good music for me, because anyway. So that's my favorite thing. I tell people that my favorite day is Wednesdays because I get to come here and see all you guys and talk to you guys. I'm now driving a van because they didn't have enough van drivers, so I said, I can drive, so I'm driving. We went to the Botanical Gardens last week, and that was really fun. Okay, that's it. I've helped on the gala. I've done the book sale. I'm really one of those that step up to try to be whatever they need. If they need somebody, I try to be there and do that. So that's kind of what I think I bring to the board. I don't have a lot of experience in fundraising like some of them do and stuff, but I'm willing to do just about anything, and I like to work and I like to be around people. Let's see. My real desire is to be an ear for you guys. I like to listen and see where you guys, I've talked at the front desk, I talked to a lot of you about what your needs are, what you're going through, and that kind of thing. And I want to be an ear to listen and to be on the board, to be able to be that voice for you. I'm here and I want to be involved in the center, but I'd also like to be on the board so I can bring that to the board. I want to be your voice is what I'm trying to say. So, and still I will be your voice. If you tell me things or ask me things, I will take it to them anyway. Another thing I thought about was starting a focus group. Somebody said they didn't like the surveys, they toss them away or they don't do them. Somebody and I were talking about starting a focus group that, we meet once a month, once every 2 months or something, and just share ideas and bring things to them on what we want as a group here. Fundraiser ideas, how to make things better, which I think this center is awesome anyway, but there's always something you can do better. I was in Seattle last week, and I went to the Kent and Renton Senior Center, which is awesome. They work different than we do, but they had some really great ideas. I brought home some information that we could maybe use. I don't know. If it works here, it's great. I'm going to throw this in because this is kind of where I'm at too. Is I stay in touch with politics. I don't like the politics necessarily, but I try to stay involved because it kind of comes with my territory. My husband was with the legislature he was a legislative aide for like 20 years, and our son, no plugs, but he is a House representative. So I have to stay up on some politics just to be able to talk to my family. But I know some people, and I can talk to just about, I can find answers is what I guess I'm saying. Okay. And my thing too is that we need more volunteers. We have a lot of volunteers that do a lot of things, but there's a lot of things like the driving. If you can drive, they might need more drivers, and so I'd really like to see more people get involved. Everybody does a lot of little things and stuff, but I still see a lack. When you're part of this, part of something, is be a whole part of something, is really, really get involved. If you can do something, do something. And I think that's probably all. Like I said, I don't have a lot of experience in fundraising stuff, but I'm willing to do just about anything. And I love you guys, and I think this center is awesome, and I just like to be on the board to bring some new blood to it. And it has nothing to do bad about all these people, because they're awesome. So, thank you very much for listening to me.
Thank you, Selinda. I wondered if that was your interpretation of your son.
Thanks, sir.
Congratulations, that's great having a son in the legislature. I'm sure you got stroke with him, right? I'm sure you have some stroke with him. We need something from him.
Yeah.
We got hands down. All right. Well, I'd like to introduce Rebecca Mahaney now. Rebecca has been the board treasurer since her appointment to the board. Can we stop the conversation for a minute? Can I get your attention again, please? All right. As treasurer, Rebecca is also the chair of the Finance Committee, which meets monthly. The treasurer position is one of the most important and time-consuming positions on the board. She's responsible for overseeing the finances, the income and expenses of the center, and reporting that information and her recommendations to the board. She works closely with the executive director, Rebecca Parker, and our accounting manager, Stephanie Rose. So please welcome Rebecca Mahaney.
Well, good afternoon. It's nice to see some familiar faces and some that I haven't seen around the center. And so I appreciate coming this afternoon to listen to us chat with you regarding running for the board. As Chris mentioned, I have been the treasurer on the board, treasurer and on the board, therefore, for the last 3 years. I am timed out and cannot run for that position again. During that time, I think if you've been to any of the finance meetings that we have once a year, and we come before you to explain what's happening with the center and the finances, that we have really worked very hard to increase in our fundraising area with Micky and the gala. I did serve on the first year. The second year I did not. I had some medical issues and could not be on that committee, but it is an awesome committee, and they are hard driven. So having said that, I do hope that you will see fit to cast a ballot for me when you do throw that little ballot in the box. I do enjoy coming in and visiting with some of you ladies. I love the puzzles, and my mother is very active in the North Pole Senior Center as well, and she comes here and visits often and has met some of you folks. You're a wonderful bunch of people, and we hope that you will continue to support the activities here by becoming involved as well. And thank you, and have a good afternoon.
Thank you. Now I'd like to bring up Lynn Paterna. Lynn has served one term on the board. She's an associate professor at UAA and has been a great asset to our board. Through her work at the university, she's been able to introduce a number of students to our senior center who have worked as interns, helping us out with some of our projects, as well as bringing in an entire class of people to perform surveys on how our programs are working. Some of you, I'm sure, have been involved in those surveys. This work has really assisted the center staff in preparing our accreditation application to the National Institute of Senior Centers, which did result in us getting a 5-year accreditation by that organization, the national organization. One of only 2 such facilities in the state. Lynn is also the chair of our self-assessment program, which we have to be able to self-assess all of our programs when we reapply for that accreditation. So thank you, Lynn, and please welcome Lynn.
As Chris said, I am an associate professor at the University of Alaska, and I am in the Human Services Department. I'd like to help people. That's my big thing. And I'm also a licensed professional counselor. And 3 years ago, when I came into the center, and I am still, I really believe...
Getting close to that. We can't hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I really believe that senior, especially this group, we have a lot of things that we have to do to keep rolling on for the next generations. A lot of us were in the baby boomers, and you know, we were rebel rousers. We retired during Vietnam, and we retired civil rights, feminist movement. I mean, we're all in there, and we were really. I always said, you know, you take away some of our benefits, you better watch out because we'll be marching. We know how to. And so I believe in that we have to keep things going. So where does education come in on this? So the University of Alaska is always looking for new programs. I'm interested in continuing to have our students understand what we are going through as we are aging and the things that we need. And I was just thrilled when we went down to Juneau and we talked to legislators about our benefits. Here's a tough time when the state is cutting money, but they are, because of our advocacy, they're keeping our benefits, and we've got to keep that ahead of them. And so as I talked about the self-assessment committee, we have improved the last 3 years. We are movers and shakers, and I'm so proud of them. Look at this. 3 years ago, we didn't have very many people running for the board. We have all these people now. We're just improving all the time. And that's where I want to be. As a board member, I want to continue to strive for us and continue going forward. And our accreditation is coming up, but I just think about, can you believe that people from Japan came to our facility to see what we're doing to duplicate in Japan? Wow, cool. So let's keep on going, and I think as some of our other people have said, that we keep on volunteering, keep it going. That's what's going to keep us healthy and a longer life and happy. So that's me.
Yeah.
Thank you. Now let's bring up Mary Shields. Mary has served 1 term on the board and has served as secretary for the past year. She also served on the finance committee, and she has also served on the gala committee, as well as self-assessment. Mary was also the interim director of the senior center during for about 6 months during we had a management changeover about 4 or 5 years ago. You may remember. Mary also serves with Gordon on the State of Alaska Commission on Aging and is the past president of that body. Mary?
This is always fun because I get to see the people I don't get to see during the week, because here you are, showing up, being volunteers to listen to us voluntarily, which is, you know, after a while, your ears get tired, but not today. You're very attentive, and we all here appreciate it. As a current member of the board, and as a current secretary for the board, it has been my pleasure and privilege to watch the growth of the senior center. As Chris mentioned, I did come in as the interim executive director in order to fulfill a gap until we could bring in Rebecca Parker. And Rebecca, of course, has done a marvelous job of making sure this facility has gone forward and grown. With that, she's had the background and the help and support of all her board members, and that has been a terrific asset. She's also had the background and support of the members that are here today. She has an open door policy, she has an ear, she's willing to listen. And because of that, your center has and is getting, has been receiving and continues to receive a makeover so that you can be proud every time anybody walks in the door here. I am the past chair for the Anchorage Commission on Aging. This has given me an opportunity to meet with the legislative body on each year for the last 4 years now, because I'm in my second term on the commission. I am currently vice chair with Gordon as chair on the Commission on Aging. And with that, we've been able to move forward with the legislature on the benefits, as we were discussing earlier, to make sure that those didn't get cut. And one of the things that we've been able to do down there, and we will continue to do with everybody's help and the support of the center, is make sure those that do not understand what aging is about learn what it's about. When I first went on that commission, at the same time I was serving, actually I was on that commission before I came on the board here. A lot of the guys down there and women down there did not have a real good grasp of what was going on in the state. By the time I was able to go to all the pioneer homes in the state, see those folks there, some of them aged a couple of years, the legislature did, and they all of a sudden ran into some of the instances that we see here. Their parents were aging, and they were seeing that. They were starting to realize exactly what it is senior centers are about, why it is important they pay attention, and why it is absolutely necessary that we have their support and that they continue to do what they do. One of the things I'm delighted to be able to continue to do is meet with Sally and go into the arts department, talk to Norma, go into the library, and be able to see all of you here, watch you enjoy the dances, watch you enjoy what goes on during the social hours, and be delighted to know that the faces that I saw 4 years ago are faces that I'm seeing now with a whole bunch of new ones. So thank you for being here today. I will say I would appreciate your vote. I just cast my ballot. The ballots should be in your mailbox today, if not by tomorrow, so don't forget to vote. And do fill out those surveys. That's how we keep track of what goes on here, and that's how we keep our accreditation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. And last but certainly not least, I want to introduce Patricia Kate White. She has been an equal opportunity counselor and mediator with the Department of Interior. She's a licensed minister and she volunteers at the Hope Center and Church. She's a community chaplain at Providence Hospital. Patricia.
Thank you. First of all, I want to say, can you hear me? Yes. First of all, I want to say that it is a pleasure to be here. I'm blessed to be among all of you, and I'm thankful for this opportunity. I'm just going to tell you a little bit about myself. I was born and raised in Memphis, Tennessee, and I graduated high school, went to vocational school, and then I went to the military. I was in what at that particular time they called the Army Security Agency. Ended up being stationed at Fort Meade, Maryland, and during my time in the military, I had the opportunity to work in the National Security Agency facility, which that was one of the highlights in my beginning of my career. Then after getting out of the military, I ended up working at the Department of Interior as a landlord examiner in the last few years. As Chris has said, I worked as collateral duty as landlord examiner, equal employment opportunity counselor, and also as a mediator. And at this present time, I am certified yet as a mediator. I am licensed as a minister, and I'm at the beginning of full-time ministry. The ministry is free to be free ministry, so I don't have as much experience being on the board as some of the others, but here's what I want to promise to you, and I solicit your vote. I will do all that I can to make sure that your voice is heard. I want to bring to the board my ideas, my concerns, because they will be your ideas and your concerns. I am, like I said, I was born and raised in Tennessee, so I am new to the center. I've been a member less than a year. When I see you, when I greet you, I'm going to greet you, and I'm going to see you with a smile. And I may say, hey baby, hey sugar, hey sweetie pie, because I'm a Southern girl. Don't be offended by that. But if I offend you, please let me know. But what I'm saying with that is that I want to be as personable with you as I possibly can. Because I have a heart, I have a passion, and I have compassion for those of us that are the ages that we are now. I was my mom's caretaker, and I was her advocate. So being a member of the board, that's exactly how I would see myself, as being an advocate for each and every one of you. Because the bottom line is this: from birth until where we are now, it is important that we live well, okay? And that we realize that no matter what our situations or circumstances in life, that life is valuable, life is important. There may be some times when we feel like nobody loves us or nobody cares, but there has to be somebody, so why not let it be me? Why not let it be you? Let us work together and do what it is that we need to do to make sure that our lives are well socially, physically, mentally, and spiritually. Because we are important. That's what life is all about, is being able to share with one another, to give to one another, and to be all that we can be to each and every one. So I solicit your vote. Please vote for me. Thank you.
Well, aren't we fortunate to have such a wonderful slate of board candidates? Wonderful.